I didn't record this last week, but I've just gotten back from, just drove back in this morning. I'm ready to do my handover with my mate, with old matey from work. I pulled the turbo out because of that bloody noise it was making, and I've got a horrendous leak at the back there. So the reason I pulled it out is a mechanic agreed to linish the heads for me. You can see I've been using a lot of gasket glue in there. Mechanic agreed to do the machining on the manifolds for us, so I got up extra early to make sure that I was back in time, that I could do my handover with my back-to-back and get these manifolds off to the engine, to the mechanic. But he fucking cancelled on me this morning, so I'm probably going to have to try and linish these. This is a bit of a mess, isn't it? Probably going to have to linish these heads myself. These manifolds myself. I've got a little linisher out the back, but it ain't the biggest thing in the world. Anyway, I don't have much time to do this today because I've got to go and clean that car and get sorted for my last day of work, and then I'll probably rip into this over the next couple of days. I got the manifold off, and you can see that there was an exhaust leak here at this end and at this end. So what I've done is I've smashed him in the middle here with a flappy disc, hoping that it'll take some of that material off, and then I've significantly reduced the amount of warpage across that manifold. So I don't know if that's going to be enough or not, but it's one of those situations where I don't want to take too much and move the problem elsewhere. So I reckon I'll hit him on the big old linisher one more time, see if I can get rid of that last, I reckon, what is it, about 1 millimetre? It's not much. Not much at all. I reckon the fucking fat gasket probably take that up. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to risk screwing this up the machining too much. I mean, machining, it's a bit laughable really, isn't it? It's just me hitting it with a linisher. I'll see if I can neaten them up a little bit more, maybe. I'm just waiting for my cordless grinder to charge up. I'll keep checking it for how flat it is, and we'll go from there. Right, I've just smashed them a little bit more in each of those bits so I know I can sacrifice some metal in. And I think it's taken off the high spot a little bit. There's still a bit more room there for improvement, isn't there? But hopefully by bringing these down, when I clamp it up, I mean, this is Schedule 10 metal, so I don't think it's going to move much, but I'm hoping that because this is now lower than that surface, when I bolt it, it's got a little bit more clamping force around the hole. I doubt it though. It's probably not going to work. It's just wishful thinking, but whatever. Might hit it one more time on the linisher, just try and take a little bit off the centre, and at least the linisher is sort of semi-flat. It's made for woodwork, not made for steel. But if I can take down the centre a little bit, might give me a little bit more clamping on this, hopefully. Is that a fucking petrol can? God, have I not burnt this place down? Anyway, that'll do, I think. I'm just going to risk it and put it back together. So other than the little lip that I've created at the end where the bolt hole is, if I was to use a steel gasket, I probably wouldn't get away with it, like one of the pressed steel gaskets. But if I use the perforated aluminium gasket and a heap of gasket poo, I think I'll be alright. I reckon you'd struggle to find a factory manifold that is perfectly flat as well. Speaking of which, I've got one somewhere. I should check it. Okay, scratch that. I do not have a factory manifold. I thought I had one floating around here somewhere, but she's gone. Whatever. Alright. I reckon I could make that work. Fuck it. That's how it's going to go back in. What's the worst that could happen, right? I suppose what I could do... No, I can't. Just thinking, can I cut this so that these two move separately? I could probably cut that one, put a separate bolt on each side, and then this will sort of, you know, I don't know. Probably wishful thinking again, eh? I just got to find a machine shop and get them to fucking machine it, just bite the bullet. Well, I'll stick it back in the car, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's not as noisy. Right, I reckon it's about as good as I'm going to get it. Already thrown one back in the car. I've got these new gaskets. There's not one in there obviously, but they're material. There's some sort of composite gasket. So I'm hoping I've been able to machine it down enough by hand that that gasket can fill in the gaps. So the first one's back in. I cleaned up around the edge here because she was a bit of a mess. Just noticed this shit. I don't know what happened in here. Must have been, was that brake fluid or something that's done that, because it's peeling all the paint off. Anyway, it doesn't appear that there's any significant damage. So yeah, I'm going to get the other side back in. Hopefully, I mean, it looks pretty ugly, right? But hopefully now, just around the ports, it's sealed up enough, which I think it is. The gasket will take up the rest. We'll get it back together and we'll go from there. Get off there, you sticky shit. I don't know how much confidence I got in this bloody silicone, because it comes off pretty easy. It might not be the greatest thing in the world. At the back here, ooh, look at that. None of the silicone stuck to the back. That manifold was leaking for a while. Alright, I'll gasket poo that up and we'll get on with it. Come on. Oh, man, why am I shaking so much? I don't see the value in gasket poo on the entire thing. I'll just go around the portholes where I want it. Come on. No one wants to watch this. I'm going to put the video camera down for a sec. This is the new gasket material. I don't know how I feel about it. Sort of strikes me as a bit flimsy. In any event, it's thick enough. Hopefully it'll take up those gaps for me. See what happens. Before anybody points this out, this back bolt is an Allen key head. I am an idiot and I snapped the stud off in the back there. So I've oversized the thread to fit this thing in. Probably could have put a helicoil in it, but yeah, fuck it. If the bigger thread doesn't take, I'll drill it out and put a helicoil in. Alright, that's in. I'm going to gasket poo the outside of the gasket. I'm only doing that because I've got to bring the manifold in around all these hoses, and I don't really want to smear this shit everywhere like I did last time, as you can see here and on the side of the rocker cover there. So I'm just going to put this on the outside of the manifold gasket and then drop this manifold in and go from there. Alright. Fortunately this thing's not the heaviest thing in the world, but it's a little bit awkward to get in here. Come on, you bugger. Get off. There we are. Alright. I've got to take a laughable photo of this because I've actually, I don't have a tripod, so I've stuffed the camera in the end of the turbo. So I was a little worried on the other side that when I take this up, that the pipe work, because it's schedule 10 pipe this thing's made out of. I can't get on there. Oh, shit, it's a 13. I was worried that because the pipe is schedule 10 pipe, there wouldn't be any flex in the surface of the mating surface. That's not true. So I tried it on the other side where I did one bolt up at the back, one at the front, and then one in the middle to see if any more fluid would push out, and it did. So cutting the grooves in the manifold makes, like, so in between the ports, so leave the port surface proud there, and there, and hopefully the imperfection in the surface can be taken out by me tightening the bolts up, I hope. That back one is the one that was leaking worse the last time, and just here, and it was melting the plug leads. So hopefully I can fix that this time. Alright, got a 13 on, let's have a look. I'm not seeing any more squish out, so, ooh, maybe because that doesn't want to do up. What's going on there? That one seems to be going, but this one doesn't want to go. What's up with that? when in doubt, well, force, eh? I'm going to buy new heads anyway. I shouldn't be forcing that. It's a bad idea. I'll get that out. Check that thread out. Okay, happy with that. That one's a 13, so I'll pull this one out and have a look. Right, this is what's been causing my problems, I think. Keep having these boots rub through and then it melts the leads. Now this one wasn't too bad, but it was certainly starting to flog out inside. So I got some new ones. I was looking for 45-degree ones, thinking that was going to make a difference, but actually it turns out they're not that much different from the originals anyway. I mean, they do go off a bit more of an angle, there's a bit more meat just in that corner there. So I grabbed some heat-proof boots to put over them. So instead of having the aluminium bit, which protects just this end, this thing pushes over and sort of protects the corner as well, which is handy for this last spark plug because it comes up right next to the pipework for the turbo. So hopefully this makes my problem go away. I have relocated that core pack, so it's actually sitting a little bit higher than the normal Marks adapters kit. So I chopped in just through here and just welded it back on with a MIG, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. If it gets steel fatigue, I'll put a brace in and put some extra support on it, but otherwise should be okay. So all the bolts are done up, although you can't ever tell. It visibly looks like it's locked up tight, so hopefully it's okay when we fire them up. So when I relocated this, obviously the factory, the idea was it would pull hard on that corner. I wonder if that's a contributing factor. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Hopefully that little boot is going to sort of semi-shield this water temperature probe as well, because that sort of has a tendency to get melted. Whatever. I shouldn't have put the turbo in this thing, let's face it. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. This won't come as a shock to anybody who knows me, but it's quite possible that I haven't fully thought this through. Fuck. Oh, look at this shit. When in doubt, what do they say? If you can't do it right, or do your best, silicon the rest. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, well, where that's coming from. Irritating. Alright. I haven't dump pipe incorrectly. You can't even see that properly, can you? Don't judge me for my homemade dump pipes. Right. After fighting with that a little bit, it just needs ugga-duggers. Oh shit, hang on. Now, this is the bit I didn't think through, because I'll try and get that one over there. And I don't know, I need a wobbly bit really. Come on, you carrot. Sorry, carrot. Near enough is good enough, I'd say. Come on. Up you get. There we go. Oh, I can't get on it. Oh, but here, bugger. I'm not on it. There we go. Alright. I'm going to have to take that bit off the side. Oh, shit. That did not do up, did it? Oh, yeah, it did. Cool. Oh, fuck. This thing here, man. Oh, no, it's my fault. That was there to begin with. I should have put the join in the fucking dump pipe somewhere else. Whatever, man. It's in here now. We did some hardline transmission cooling lines, but clearly there's a bit of a leak here. And it's dribbling down. Ah, it's just more shit to fix up. Whew, jeez, there is a lot of work in this, man. Okay, so I'm just about ready to put the turbo back on. I've turned the V-band around this time. I'm going to try and hook it on from the back, which is notoriously difficult, which is why I always hook it on from the other side. But I think it's the V-band getting hot that was melting that, or at least contributing to it. So, fuck, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm really having some second thoughts right now. Okay, so that's almost where I want it. Ooh, someone is hitting the limiter hard, man. Love it. Okay, I need the jack to bring the dump pipe up. Ooh, fucking hell. It's the easiest it's ever gone in. But have I popped? Yeah, I popped out there. So alright. I'll line it back, do the back up, just nip it, don't do it extra tight, and then line the front up. Ow! Fucking hell. And tighten it all up. I did have a little bit of some of that fucking oil leak out of the bottom of the turbo, but I'll sort that out after. Alright, it's back on. V-band swung around so that the threaded side doesn't face that stud. Back V-bands on, they just need to be tightened up. I don't want to do any of them up real tight until I've got everything back together. Shouldn't be too much longer though. Can't remember what that one's off. Oh god, so much work. Alright, so this is the passenger side obviously. There's the driver's side one just there. We made this nifty little crossover pipe. It's probably a little bit small for this to be honest, but really want the gas going through the turbo at the highest velocity we can get it. Probably sacrificing a little bit of performance there in the fact that this is pretty small to breathe through for 4 cylinders on a 6 litre I think, but fuck it. That's all I could squeeze between the engine mount and the aircon compressor, which doesn't currently work anyway, so something else that needs to be fixed after get the car on the road reliably. So I'll throw this on, it's all V-banded again just like before, and show you what it looks like when it's in there, 'cause it actually fits in quite well. Right, so there's the crossover pipe. It narrowly misses everything. We've got the standard lift back in, but we've got some spaces underneath the springs here to stop this from coming up too far. I'm going to put the 80 series bump stops in, which is a pretty popular thing to do with these things. I've tucked away my my brake line for the front, as well as what do you call this thing? That's for the lockers, sorry. Yeah, so the power for the front locker and the brake line's tucked away to the side there to keep it away from this hot pipe. Although it does come down here at an angle and get pretty close to the sump, so I actually don't think that'll get caught anyway. But now with the hard lines in, it misses. The hard lines aren't in danger of getting smashed by the pumpkin coming up, so we're all good. I'm an absolute tool. O2 sensor for this bank is above the engine mount. Comes off the log before the log goes down and joins with the other pipe and then comes back up. I can't get to it, not to tighten it anyway, so it's in there hand tightened. I'm going to have to pull the turbo back out to get to it. I might be able to tighten it in from the side, or at least nip it up tight enough that, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm leaving it here today though. Car's defeated me again. I've got to get kids shortly, so I'll pick this up again tomorrow. I might just nip it up, see if it's made any difference. If it has, excellent. I'll wait until that O2 sensor rattles loose and then I'll take it apart again, or wait until I've got to do some other work. Otherwise, if it's not good tomorrow, it's got to come apart again anyway, and I'll strip it down when that happens.